Hello and welcome to week 2 of our distance learning partnership art lessons. I have, oh yes, a surprise. I went down to the school and got our greeting jar because I just thought it's not the same without it. So I'm going to reach in here and pull out a word for you. Hello, my most charming art students. Now I'm going to set this word aside so we don't choose it again. Alrighty, let's talk about what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you a quick view of my example of our project today. We're doing another 1-point perspective project. Here's what we're going to need. White paper. Markers are handy if you have them. And crayons. And maybe a few colored pencils. And of course, a pencil, an eraser, and a ruler or a straight edge for our nice straight lines. And you'll see I have some chosen here already. These are the ones that I used for this piece. Also, don't forget your smooth surface so you don't get bumpy lines from your table. Alrighty. Let's talk about the steps. We'll set that aside. Taking a clean sheet of paper, the first thing that we're going to do is make a big X on our page. Now you want to kind of picture corner to corner. It's okay if you don't hit the corners exactly, or if, like mine, your ruler doesn't go all the way to the corners, that's okay. You know, I'm going to go ahead and just start with my black marker. If you'd like to start with your pencil and go over your lines later, you can do that. You might find it easier to skip a step and just go right for the marker. So once we have a nice X on our paper, now let's talk about what is what on this sheet. I'm going to extend my lines to the corners. All right, now what we're drawing today is a tunnel. I drew a sky tunnel. You might draw something else. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The triangle that's closest to you is going to be your floor. And these 3 triangles, the sides and the top, are going to be our tunnel. Our tunnel is see-through, and it's a really cool view outside. Starting on the top triangle, let's think of making rainbow shapes from one line to the next. Just like that. Now, moving farther up, we want to follow kind of that same curve that we just made. And let's make 3 of these. There's 2 and 3. This one's going to go right to the top of the paper, it looks like. Now, if you have a big section left on the sides like I do, we're going to pretend that we're drawing the whole rainbow shape. But of course, we can't draw off the end of our paper, and we don't want to accidentally draw on the table. So we're going to just kind of imagine that line. Maybe you take a few passes at it like this to kind of picture where that marker's going to go. Then we're going to draw one part and stop, pick up our marker, and finish it over there. How'd you do? Alrighty. Now, on one of the side triangles, we're going to start right where our rainbow shape touched the line, and we're going to draw straight down to the bottom line. And let's go ahead and finish all of those straight lines. If you'd like to use your ruler to get really straight lines, you can. Or if you'd like to eyeball it like I just did, that is fine too. And we'll do the other side. All right, there is our tunnel. Now you've done all the hard parts, and now you get to decide the fun stuff. Let's take a look at my example again. I chose to do a sky tunnel at night looking into space. So I made a cool pattern of diagonal lines, zigzags on my floor. And you can tell, let's get the pencil here, that all of my lines go right back to this point of the X. This is our, remember what it's called? Vanishing point. So everything kind of disappears into the back of the X here. And that makes your eye think that you're looking way far down into a tunnel where you just can't see any farther. And let's talk about what I've done out here. I've drawn some planets and a comet and some galaxies. And I chose a nice dark, dark, dark blue, almost black for my sky. You could choose to do a nighttime sky, or you could do a daytime sky, or what might be kind of fun would be to draw an underwater tunnel and make some sea life under here. Just draw a few little ideas for you, and then you could take off with it and make it how you like it. So there's an idea for you. It could be underwater. Now here's what I would suggest. If you can, if you have the right tools available to you, then if you start with some crayon and make your cool crayon shapes, draw pretty firmly, because what that does is makes a nice wax barrier that's going to kind of block the colored pencil when we put that on. Now here is something fun. I'm not going to do this whole thing for you because that video would be too long and I want you to get your creativity going. But here's a fun little tip. I'll show you again on mine. If you can see it on the camera, I'm not sure, I can see it from here. I have some white stars in my night sky, which might have shown up a little better if I'd colored my sky a little darker. But I got them with kind of a fun effect. If you'll take a white crayon and make some circles on your paper, some dots, make them nice and heavy till you kind of see that wax building up. These could be bubbles instead of stars if you're doing an underwater scene. But you do have to press pretty hard for it to show up. All right, so you can hardly see them, but I do have some bubbles on there. And then when you take your colored pencil and you color in your water, let's see, maybe I'll use this one. When you color, if you'll color kind of lightly, then as you get over where you colored with wax, you'll be able to feel it under your pencil. And when you feel your pencil going over it, then here's the thing. Pause and scratch at that with your fingernail. And that white wax will go away and you'll be left with the white paper. And so there, you can see it there. You'll have a nice white bubble. You could even kind of outline it to make it show up a little more. Of course, you can just leave some areas white if you would like, but sometimes that's a little bit tricky. So this is kind of a little tip. Oh, there's another bubble that you can leave white. And now the fun thing with coloring colored pencil over crayon, you can go kind of right over it or right up to it. If I don't want to color over that yellow seaweed, I can kind of stop when I feel my pencil bumping up against the crayon. Tell me if you tried bubbles or stars and if they worked for you. That was a really big one. The harder you draw your little circle with your white crayon, the better they will resist the colored pencil. All right, now lastly is your floor. How are you going to design your floor? And I would like you to make some kind of a neat pattern of lines on your floor. Remember our different lines that we've talked about? They are vertical, diagonal, horizontal, spiral, angle, and curve. And let's see what you can put on your floor. Again, I chose diagonal or zigzaggy lines on my floor. I guess we would call them angles, wouldn't we? All right, well, that's our project for today, and I can't wait to see what you choose. Is it an underwater theme? Is it a night sky? Is it a daytime sky? What is outside your clear tunnel? Have fun drawing!